Hello, thank you for tuning in. This is the All Talk Sports Show. I'm RJ, that's Sean right there. And a fun last week of the NFL, a fun playoff week in college football, a lot to talk about. First things first, I want to say once again, thank you for tuning in. Please like, please subscribe to the channel. If you have anything you'd like us to talk about, please let us know. Please comment or get to us directly. We'd love to talk about your suggestions. So let's get right into it. I want to talk about the last week of the 2020 NFL regular season. Let's start out hitting Sean in the heart with the Steelers losing to the Browns 24-22.
Well, look, I mean, come on. Steelers didn't even fly half. It's a lot of their starters to Cleveland. They were sitting at home watching TV, and the Browns still, came a 2-point conversion away from almost losing that game. Um, I mean, it was what it was. I thought Mason Rudolph actually had a very good game statistically, except for that one pass that was intercepted where the Browns defense went upside his head, and they really should have been called back. But I thought except for that play, I'll play Baker Mayfield. I really do. Like I said, Steelers defense didn't play almost anyone. Except for the offense, they didn't play Pouncey, the center, and they didn't play Roethlisberger, the two notables. Otherwise, they played a lot of guys on offense, and it showed. They scored some points, but, you can throw that game away. Well, actually, I don't think you can throw that game away because the way I figure it, man, the Browns had to open up their cupboard and show all the Steelers their cookies, man, just to get in that game. And the Steelers are looking at that cupboard, and they're going to eat their cookies, man.
Yeah.
They were taking notes.
Yeah, the only reason this game was important was just because the Browns needed it so bad, just for positioning. Which, I mean, maybe maybe they could have spent a little bit more time at the beginning of the season focusing on positioning. Oh well, but that was the only reason that game mattered.
That also, I mean, it's a great story, Browns being in the playoffs. It really is. As a Steeler fan, I liked it. I didn't want to see them get in at the expense of beating the Steelers. I'd rather see them beat the Jets the week before and get in. So, but it's a good story. Too bad it has to end this week, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Baker Mayfield this whole season, Baker Mayfield finally kind of matured a little bit. I mean,
I think so.
On the field, and that's good if you're a Browns fan. You can finally start building around somebody, whereas last year you try to build around him, and disaster strikes when you're trying to build around somebody who's not ready yet. But Baker Mayfield finally found it, I think, and I think now Browns will start turning towards the better. Obviously, maybe in the next.
I think the future's bright.
Yeah.
I think the future's bright in Cleveland. They have a lot to look forward to. It's not going to happen this year, but
No, definitely.
That's a good team. That's good.
And maybe not even next year, but Baker Mayfield's getting there, and so good job by I don't say this very often, especially to Cleveland, just because they have Baker Mayfield, and I'm not a big fan of Baker Mayfield, but good job to Cleveland. They found their quarterback. They're making the turn. Good job.
Yeah,
tip your hats.
Good running backs, good wide receivers. Yep. As long as he doesn't plays within himself. Yep. He's good.
So now you and I both picked the Cardinals last week, and we were way wrong. way wrong.
Man, did you watch that at all?
18-7. I watched a little bit of it, and then decided to shut off. Was not happy.
um, Clearly Murray wasn't right, man. Clearly.
No.
That I put it kind of on the coach. Should they have played him? I mean, every player wants to play, whether they're dinged up or not. It's up to the coach to make a decision whether to pull him for the betterment of the team. And they should have pulled that guy, in my opinion.
Yeah, and their second they pulled in another guy there for a little bit that he did all right. I mean, I think he was like 10 for 15 or 11 of 15, something like that. They pulled in another guy, and he did okay, but I mean, there's a reason they started Baker Mayfield, or not Baker. We were just talking about Baker. There's a reason they start Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray's just a lot flashier, a lot better. There was just no winning. There was just no win situation for Arizona. Kyler
But a
Murray
lot of
was
his
ready,
game,
but none of the backups were ready. So
a lot of his game is his legs, and if he can't take advantage of his legs, and he comes pretty ordinary.
yeah, exactly.
The Rams quarterback, though. The Rams quarterback surprised me.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we talked about. Maybe Jared Goff being out did help a little bit. Maybe Jared Goff being in there might have lost the Rams the game. Who knows? We'll see. Next week probably. There.
Yeah, I have an opinion on that one, but yeah.
But yeah, that hurts both of us quite a bit. We both took Arizona handingly. I think we both said it was going to be a pretty dominant. So
I think at the time I thought it was going to be two backup quarterbacks against each other. I didn't think Murray was going to start, or maybe I did. Maybe early in the morning I got the news that Murray was going to start. So yeah, I think I did pick.
I think
Cardinals to win.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Yeah, I remember us talking about that. That if they started Kyler Murray, that it was going to be a blowout. Which it kind of was. It really. I mean, the score's a lot closer than. I mean, it's still an 11-point game, but it was not an 11-point win. It was brutal. I actually I watched a little bit of it. It was not fun to watch at all.
I watched a bit of it myself. Yeah.
So next up, I want to roll all around in my defeat that I took in the NFC East last week, picking both games wrong. Start out with the Giants beating the Cowboys 23-19. Should have known. I don't know what got into me, but
I told you, man, they're gonna let you down every time.
The Cowboys did it again. Good job, Dallas, for just proving yourself as the worst team ever. Just oh my gosh, they're just not good. I mean,
it's got to be so frustrating to be a Cowboy fan. Man, I don't know how they do it.
I mean, what do you even do? Like, sitting at a manager's position, what do you do? Where do you even start?
Well, got to get Prescott back. Sign Dak.
I tell you what, I am not sold on Dak Prescott. He is not a quarterback that you need to keep. You need. I'm always somebody that start with the quarterback and work around him, and
right.
You need to find a good quarterback. Dak Prescott is definitely in the bottom half of NFL starting quarterbacks, and he is not somebody that he, I think, in my personal opinion, Dak Prescott is just as big a reason the Cowboys were losing as anything. And I think first thing is find somebody to replace
Replace who?
Dak Prescott.
Oh, okay. I'm with you on that. I'm not sold on Dak Prescott either. I'm just wondering what options they have out there for a good quarterback. One of the reasons I think the Cowboys have uh, suffered, another way to say it, a few years ago, their offensive line was the best in the business. Man, they had a great offensive line. Offensive line is not where it used to be. So maybe rebuild that offensive line. I don't know.
I
Defense.
I was about to say if we're being honest, they just need to rebuild everything. But
Yeah.
but you're probably right. Starting at the offensive line and then getting a good quarterback after that might be the best way to go. But I've tried telling everybody this, and Cowboy fans are always, "Oh, Dak Prescott, blah 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 blah." I cannot stand Dak Prescott. I think in terms of NFL players, he might be the most overrated player I've ever seen.
I've said for years, pump the brakes on Dak Prescott. Like I said, I'm just not sure what options they have out there right now.
I mean, let him walk. That's the only option I can think of is let him walk or
But I mean,
trade him is what I would do.
there's
I
a
mean,
lot of good quarterbacks in the draft this year. You might get a steal at a quarterback.
yeah, yeah, and they have a top 10 pick, I think.
They should,
Well,
unless they.
I think they're at 10, or if I remember correctly. Um, but either way,
I mean, I can see Trask falling down to 10.
yeah, easily. Or this is a long shot, but Jacksonville's pretty terrible. It might be something where you can package your pick this year, maybe a couple other picks, maybe even try to throw in Dak Prescott to get Trevor Lawrence.
That would be a big deal. I mean, Jacksonville's a mess too. So you're right. They need a lot of pieces. Yeah.
Yeah,
You see time and time again, you see a good quarterback come in from college to a horrible team, and then they just suffer for a couple of years because the team around them is not very good.
well, yeah, let's be honest. The Jacksonville Jaguars are still going to suck whether they have Trevor Lawrence or not. So getting a top pick
And
this year and getting future picks from the Cowboys, I mean, all that does is help them.
and you might have a situation where Trevor Lawrence kind of forces Jacksonville's hand by saying, "I'm not going to pay for you," or you've seen it happen before with these top pick quarterbacks. When they don't want to go to a certain team,
Right.
they kind of force their hand sometimes and force a trade.
Mhm.
You see it in all sports, really, but that could happen.
Yeah, I think um, that kind of excites me a little bit because I mean, even though the Dallas Cowboys are terrible, I hate the Dallas Cowboys. Um, you see it with their pick last year in CD Lamb. I mean, they're trying at least a little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
they're trying to build a team, even though they're failing miserably. They're trying, and I think, I mean, getting Trevor Lawrence on that team, I'm just, I mean, that might be a Brown situation where, or something where in a couple years they might be ready to contend in the NFC, especially.
Yeah. Who knows what that division's going to look like next year? I mean, it's crazy.
I don't know what it's going to look like next week. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's true, man.
So that was that game of the NFC East. Now let's talk about Washington beating Philadelphia. Man, I was, Jalen Hurts came in, won his first game. I was getting a little full of myself. Mm, and then he comes in.
Yeah, I said pump the brakes.
He comes in. I'm no longer on the Jalen Hurts train. That man, losing to Washington, that loss just kind of is like, which obviously Washington showed potential this year, and they're clearly the best team of the division. But man, Philadelphia is another one of those dumpster fire teams.
They really are.
But
And with the locker room being upset about pulling Hurst.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was stupid. Jalen Hurts wasn't playing great, but come on. I mean, that was ridiculous. It wasn't like it was a blowout.
No. Yeah, it's a mystery to me too, but oh well.
So maybe the problem is the coach. Maybe that's all they need.
I think you're onto something there. Yeah.
Something we've yet to talk about all year.
And he's coming back next year.
Maybe a mistake. Maybe a big mistake. I don't know. There were a lot of rumors. Now, obviously, it's not true. We now know that he's going back to Michigan, but there were a lot of rumors that Harbaugh was going to try to make his way to the NFL, and I was starting to think, a team like Philadelphia would love Harbaugh from Michigan, a brand new coach to start a brand new era Eagles football, but they got to do something. They got to do something. I mean, what was it? 4 years ago? Was it 4 years ago that they were Super Bowl champions?
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
And they got and Wentz now says reports are that he wants out, so he's disgruntled. They can't get anything for him because he hasn't played that well lately. He has a huge contract. Mm-hmm. So what are you going to do with that guy?
I mean, honestly, at this point, just coming at what I would do, if there's literally no offers, you just got to let him walk. And then I'd take the first offer I get.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're not going to get a lot of offers. There's not. No,
I understand. Yeah. I understand. You're not going to get a lot of offers, but at some point, I mean, you're not going to play Carson Wentz, and if Carson Wentz is upset, having a mad Carson Wentz is helping your team zero. So
yeah, if he's going to be a bad guy in the locker room,
yeah. So if you're getting zero offers, let him walk. But the first offer you get in, deal. Okay, just that would just my mindset is get rid of Carson Wentz as quick as possible, and start just try to get Jalen Hurts an offensive line. Please try.
Yeah, and get him a good quarterback coach. Have him work in the off season. We've seen that time and time again where a quarterback makes some real upgrades during the off season. He works hard.
Yeah,
it's the right quarterback coach. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe I was right, but just a season too early.
Yeah, and hopefully this offseason is going to be a lot different, man. They'll have their OTAs and their preseason, and they'll get to work out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They'll get a better sense of what they have in them.
Yeah, no, not a bright future for Philadelphia yet.
Nah.
Maybe Jalen Hurts will start to make some strides. So I want to talk about one more game for last week, and then we'll move on. The Bills beat the Dolphins by 30. 30.
In a game that Dolphins had to have.
Yeah, yeah. Tua throws 3 interceptions. Is Tua the future? Is he?
You see, I've been a skeptic of his, all year really. He has a problem throwing the long ball. Passes over 15 yards are pretty poor. He's not anywhere close to being where he needs to be, and that's a good team that's around him.
I will bring this up. We were talking about the Cowboys doing this. I think the Dolphins would be stupid if they didn't try to throw everything they got into trying to get Trevor Lawrence. They have the number 3 pick in the draft. They have the number 3.
Yeah. I heard a rumor today saying, you see, I think this is kind of like akin to chasing your bet, but they're saying Miami should go after Devontae Smith. Like, well, yeah, you can have all the great wide receivers in the world, but you still need someone to pass the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You at the end of the day, I mean, I hate to bring this up, but Oklahoma State. Look at Oklahoma State. I mean, we had a very good surrounding cast. We had a pretty good defense, but Spencer Sanders is not good, and that's exactly, if we had a good quarterback in, maybe things would be different. But I mean, just use Oklahoma State as an example. You have to have a good quarterback. You have to have a good quarterback.
Miami's going to be a real interesting team to watch in the offseason because they're good. I mean, they're not there yet, but what they do in the offseason could make them a playoff team or take them 2 steps, backwards. Who knows? It's going to be interesting. That's going to be one of the teams to watch, really. And the third pick in the draft, again, there's a lot of good quarterbacks out there, even besides Lawrence. So,
yeah, I mean, I just think Lawrence is really the only one that you need to go after. I mean, in my opinion, if you're going to pick Trask, you might as well just keep Tua and hope that he develops. That's the way I look at any other quarterback besides Trevor Lawrence, honestly.
See, I think Trask is NFL ready. I know he that last game against Oklahoma was pretty poor, but even in the loss against,
he didn't have nobody helping him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They sat like 27 players or something. But against Alabama, he threw 6 touchdowns. He wasn't the reason they lost that game.
No.
He throws all the balls. He's got the short pass, long pass. He can throw a laser. He has a nice touch pass.
Yeah.
I think Trask might be a steal in the draft.
But
I like him.
They said, Tua did that exact same thing in college. So,
yeah.
At the end of the day, you just never know when you find a diamond or when you find a fake. You just never know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So maybe watch out for the Dolphins this offseason. Maybe, I would throw my whole basket of eggs in to try to get Trevor Lawrence, but that's just me. If I'm any team, I mean, obviously the Packers or the Chiefs or the Saints don't need him, but any team that's struggling at quarterback, that's what I would do. Trevor Lawrence is the real deal. So next week, the playoffs are here, and we've got a few fun games in the AFC, starting with the Browns in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's favored by 6 points.
Yeah.
That's an easy pick for the Steelers, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was actually 3 point spread before the news came out about Stefanski.
Hmm.
It went up 3 points this morning. So if you got in at 3 points, man, I'd feel good about that. But yeah, you know what? Coach, no coach, Steelers are going to win this game.
Hmm.
They just are. Like I said, the Browns had to empty out their cupboard just to win, just to get in the playoffs. And, the Steelers were taking notes. They're going to have this. They're going to be coming prepared.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I
see it being like a 13-point game, honestly.
oh yeah, I don't. I'm exactly with you. I didn't have faith in the Steelers, and I was starting to rev up on the Browns, and then they lost to the Jets, and then last week, and I just, a lost faith just like that. Mm, they're just not quite ready. So that's an
Yeah.
easy Steelers by 6 at least.
Yeah.
Next up, the Baltimore Ravens in Tennessee. Baltimore is favored by 3.5.
Right. It's in. You see, I I'm gonna take the Titans in this one. I really am.
Me too.
I think the Ravens are kind of a mirage. If you look at their last 5 games, well, I got it right here. They played. They beat. They beat the Bengals. They beat the Giants. They beat the Jaguars. They beat the Cowboys. They beat the Browns, but who knows what the Browns are doing. So come on. I think pump the brakes on the Ravens a little bit. I'm on the Titans all the way on this.
Oh yeah, I mean they've
I'll,
proven all season. I mean they deserve this home game. I mean they've proven all season that
yeah.
they're legit. You know?
Henry, it's cold weather.
Yeah.
Henry's going to get that ball.
Oh yeah.
And then, let's be honest, the Ravens defense is not the Ravens defense of old, man.
No, they're gonna run all over the Ravens. They're quite literally gonna run all over. So
Yeah.
Tennessee easy. The AFC is pretty easy. Next up, we got the Colts and the Bills. The Bills favored by 6.5, and I'm taking the Bills at 6.5.
I think just to spice things up,
Mm.
I think I'm not going to pick the Colts outright. I'm going to take them points, believe me. But I think the Colts keep it close. I think they've been running the heck out of the ball lately, and if they can slow it down, keep it out of the Bills' offense, they have a chance to keep it close. I'm gonna take the Colts and the points on this one.
I'm really
I know the Bills have been beating the hell out of everyone, but
I'm really happy the Bill Josh Allen is the real deal. I'm really
yeah, he
happy
is.
that they found a way to push Josh Allen over the top. I don't know how they did it. I was never a fan of him in college, but they did it somehow.
We kind of struggled.
He's great. He's great now. And last week they ran all over Miami.
Yeah, they did.
I think the Bills are the second best team in the AFC. I mean, not only are they the second best team in the AFC, but I mean, just talent wise, I think they're much better than Tennessee. I think they're better than Pittsburgh. I think they deserve their spot.
Oh, they deserve the second seed. That's a really good football team they have there.
Yeah.
Josh Allen is the real deal, and you got to give him credit because he struggled this first couple of years. So
yeah,
he's worked hard. He really has, and yeah, he's the real deal. He's going to be in this league for a long time, playing at a high level.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like I just think I have a sneaking suspicion that the Colts are going to be able to run the ball, keep it close, slow it down. Ultimately, I think the Bills go ahead and win, but I'm going to take them points from the Colts.
All right.
Just keep it spicy.
All right. We'll see. We will see. So now let's move over to the NFC, which if you thought the AFC was boring, then NFC's just. I mean, first up, The Bears in New Orleans. New Orleans favored by 10. I'm going to pick New Orleans.
I'm not even sure how the Bears made the playoffs. How did that happen?
Well, because you got the Arizona Cardinals losing to the Rams. That
I mean, last time I looked, the Bears were getting annihilated by Green Bay, and I'm like, oh, they're done. And then I turned on the TV later, like the Bears made the playoffs. I'm like, what? Yeah, I'm taking the Saints all day. They're gonna kill them. I don't know, 10 points. Yeah,
do I have to remind you it's the NFC?
The Saints are gonna, Saints all day, man. They're gonna. It's gonna like 21 points game. This one's just gonna be
easy. You know what? I'm gonna say the same thing about the next game. Tampa Bay in Washington. Tampa Bay's favored by 8, but I think that one's another blowout. I think they're going to beat Washington by way more than
8 points, huh? Yeah, and Alex Smith is dinged up. They're thinking about doing a platoon thing with the quarterback, running their backup Henke, or I don't know his name. It's like he was third on the depth chart a couple of weeks ago. So if Alex Smith was healthy, I might be inclined to go ahead and take the 8 points. But as much as I hate to do this, I got to take the Buccaneers.
Yeah, stay safe.
They seem to be. The Buccaneers, I've been saying all year, even when they were having struggles, really having problems. And I said, it's not too late for them to kind of pull it together, get on a hot streak, and start playing some good football towards the end of the season. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much what they've done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've been very convincing. I mean, the start of the year, we were all, oh, not this, not this, not that. But Tampa Bay over the last few weeks actually picked up and actually looked like a legit playoff team.
Yeah.
For the first time all year, the past few weeks.
That's what I was scared of all year, because I was like, man, as much as I love talking crap on Tampa Bay, but still I had that caveat as, they can still put this together. They can still go on a winning streak. They can still play some good ball going in the playoffs and look like a scary team. They look like a scary team. Yep. I wouldn't want to play them right now. And you got, Tom Brady. How you going to go against that guy in a lot of playoff games?
Yeah. Yeah, at the end of the day, he is one of the last people you ever want to see against you.
Yeah.
So, another one that I think the NFL is overrating a little bit. I think they've got the Rams at the Seahawks. The Seahawks are favored by 3.5.
I personally, I like the Seahawks.
Yeah,
I'll give up the 3.
Oh,
it's in Seattle. Both have been wildly inconsistent, but I just don't trust the Rams at all. I trust them the least.
I mean, I trust Arizona the least, but the Rams right in front. Actually, let's take a step back. The Cowboys the least, then the Rams.
I trust them to disappoint. I trust them implicitly.
But I think 3.5 is way too close. Seattle's going to take them by at least 7.
I think so. Seattle's a nice little team around them, and inconsistent, sure, but Russell Wilson. They got a decent running game. Defense is decent. They got good wide receivers. I forget his name, but
Metcalf.
Yeah, they're just a better team. They're just a better team, and they've already yeah, I just can't go with the Rams. Just can't.
And they kind of did the same thing. I mean, well, never mind. I forgot they lost to Philadelphia, so never mind. Um, yeah, so that's the NFL playoffs. I highly encourage you to watch all the AFC games if you can. Now, if you want to watch the NFC games, I mean, be my guest. I'm not brave enough to do that. I'll watch all the AFC games and I'll check the scores for the NFC games, but man, none of those look fun to me.
I, I I plan on being on TV, in front of the TV for all the games, man. I'm looking forward to this weekend. It's gonna be fun.
Well, I mean, other than I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to beat the Browns. I think the other two AFC matchups are going to be close, but gosh, I don't think Chicago is going to do anything against New England.
No, no.
I don't think the Redskins on a third string quarterback are going to do anything against the Buccaneers. And then of course you got the Rams. So yeah. I don't know. This might be the least interesting playoffs in the NFC ever. Until next round. I mean, maybe opening round because next round you'll add the Packers in, and so that'll be fun. All right,
All right.
all right. So let's end the show talking about some college football. Um, Mainly, just want to go over the playoffs. I was actually kind of surprised that Alabama only beat Notre Dame 31-14. Wasn't it like a
Yeah,
20-point spread?
I think it was. I think we both picked Alabama though outright, right? Didn't we?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, yeah, and we
I
both
know I'm
lost.
high on Alabama. Alabama's. Who do you stop, man? And they might be getting uh, their other wide receiver back for the national championship game. Dude that got hurt in the middle of the season.
Well, I
Super
mean,
good. Um,
I don't think it matters.
yeah, yeah. I think this is going to be one of the worst national championship games ever. But yeah, we can talk about. Yeah, Oklahoma. They just destroyed Notre Dame. I mean, I wasn't real high on them anyways, and I was before uh, Clemson handled them their hat,
Yeah,
you know. But just Alabama's just strong, man. I don't know how do you stop them. You just can't.
yeah, you just don't.
I thought the only team that had a chance to go toe to toe with them because you got to outscore them was Florida in the SEC championship game, and they kept pace with them almost.
They tried.
But if Florida couldn't do it, if Florida couldn't keep up with them, no one can. I mean, it's ridiculous. They're just too stacked, man.
I agree. I totally agree. Um, and I'm telling you, I think it was like a 21-point spread or 20 maybe, or it might have been 19, something like that. Um, I really honestly thought it was going to be absolute slaughter, which I mean, it wasn't close.
No,
31-14 is a lot closer than what I thought it was going to be, to be honest with
really. Yeah, and Mac Jones, I wasn't really high on until these last few weeks where I really watched him.
you. Yeah.
That's a pretty good quarterback there,
Yes.
man.
Yes. Yeah, he's getting. I think he's getting very overlooked, very badly.
I did too. I overlooked him earlier in the season,
That
but I've gotten a good look at him, and I'm very impressed with that guy.
I don't know. I don't know why the media. I don't know why the media is overlooking him, but they're heavy. They're heavy on Trask and they're heavy on Lawrence, but Mac Jones might be the best quarterback in college football, honestly.
I couldn't argue with that.
Um,
And
and I was definitely wrong about Ian Book. He's good. Ian Book is a good quarterback, but man,
Yeah, before a few weeks ago, we even talked about him being a Heisman Trophy candidate, and I said I wouldn't have any trouble handing it to him at that point.
I would. I would now.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that he went downhill really quick.
Yeah,
Talk about someone who went
but
uphill.
Alabama.
Do what? Go ahead.
Hmm? Oh, I was saying Alabama had a lot to say about that, but yeah, go ahead.
I'll just segue into the next playoff game. Somebody that I thought might have been a dark horse and might have showed it last game. Justin Fields blew Clemson out. Blew Clemson. I mean,
Man, uh,
it's not like it was a close game. I mean, they slaughtered Clemson by 21
I,
points.
I was not a big Justin Fields guy. These last two games, again, a guy who played himself back into contention
Yep.
and should have been talked about more about Heisman Trophy because, yeah, he was just phenomenal against Clemson. He really was. I have to take back a lot of what I thought about him because, yeah, he showed me in that game.
And it's not like, I mean, Trevor Lawrence had a really good. I mean, Trevor Lawrence threw for 400 yards. Did he have an interception? He might have had one. I can't remember, but Trevor Lawrence played a good game. It's not like Clemson just played bad. Ohio State just killed. Ohio State.
Yeah, and I was down on Ohio State as a team. I didn't even think they should have made the Final Four. Shows what I know.
Well, I hope I've been telling everybody this that everybody's been saying, "Oh, Ohio State only played 5 games. They don't deserve blah blah blah." I hope this game shuts those people up. I mean, I've been saying it doesn't matter how many games they play. They're a top 4 team in the country. Obviously, they're obviously a top 4 team in the country, and it doesn't matter how many games they played. They are if they play 1 game or 12 games. They deserve to be there, and they proved it. I'm glad they did because they're a great team. And they proved it.
They did prove it, and I was one of the guys that was down on them for only playing 5 games. My problem with that is, the other teams put in, a body of work. And should they have been rewarded for actually playing their schedule? That was my thing. Obviously, I need to shut up because I host, but they're going to get killed against Alabama. But I don't think anybody could beat Alabama at this point.
Well,
but yeah, Ohio State.
Well, let's talk about that. Alabama is favored by 8.
Only 8?
Alabama's favored by 8.
Wow.
And I'm taking Ohio State.
Wow. I can't get off Alabama. I would love to go against Alabama, but they're just too good, man.
They're really good. Yes, they are. But let's be honest. I think Clemson. I think Clemson had a good chance to hang with Alabama. I'm not with you on Florida. I think even when Florida had all their players, I honestly don't think they were the team to beat Alabama. I think Clemson was the team to beat Alabama. And Ohio State runs all over Clemson. If Ohio State doesn't win outright, I am at least taking them in the points. Even if they don't win, it might be a 3-point game, a 7-point game. I'm taking Ohio State. Justin Fields had a phenomenal game against Clemson. Their defense showed up big. I mean, Trevor Lawrence still had a great game, but I mean, their defense held them to 28 points. That's not bad at all. I'm going Ohio State just because they're going to carry their momentum. They're going to carry their momentum.
Well, talk about a team that's got momentum. I like Alabama's momentum.
I mean, I mean, let's they played Notre Dame. Notre Dame was clearly, they were ranked the worst, and they were the worst of all the playoff teams. They were not. I think Texas A&M would have given Alabama a closer game than Notre Dame did. Or did I say no?
Probably.
I think A&M would have done a lot better. It's Notre Dame. Alabama only won by what? 17. Alabama only won by 17. Um, and they were favored by a lot more than that. Ohio State, Clemson was favored in that game, and Ohio State not only wins by 21 points to Clemson. I like State's momentum and just the fact that Justin Fields is tired of the haters snubbing him. They're tired of people talking about how Ohio State shouldn't be in there because they only played 5 games. I'm thinking Ohio State comes in and shuts everybody up.
Wow, that's a bold prediction. All right.
Well, my little saying I like, you got to risk it for the biscuit. And
yes, you do.
and well, that's the playoffs and that's the national championship. I hope you all get to watch it. Man, I think it's going to be fun. I don't, Sean might not think so. I'm sure a lot of people doesn't think so, but I think it's going to be a fun game. It's Monday. It's Monday at 7:00 Central Time, 8:00 Eastern Time. I think it's going to be a fun game on ESPN. I encourage everybody. Now, I know I didn't encourage very much on the NFC Championship, but on the NFC playoffs. But if you can watch the national championship, please watch the national championship.
Hey, quick question. What do you think? Did you watch the ESPN broadcast of the bowl games where they had the split screen and then the stats on the bottom?
No, I didn't.
It was awful. They had 2 views going on in the upper 2 corners, and then the stats of everything in the bottom half of the 2 corners. It was so distracting, and it was awful. It was really awful. I had it going on during the Cincinnati game.
I think that's horrible.
Yeah, it was so distracting. You can. I hope they don't do that for the national championship. I'll lose my mind.
Now, so gosh, yeah. I'm one of those guys that I'll have one game on the TV, one game on the laptop, one game on my phone. I can do that just fine. But having a split screen on one TV, statistics on the bottom, you say, that's a little too much for me.
So it was almost like 4, it's like 4 windows. It was awful. It was not very good.
That's gross. I hope they don't do that.
Yeah. Nope.
Full screen is how God intended football to be watched.
Absolutely. Yep.
Well, everybody, once again, please watch the playoffs. I was just joking about the NFC. I don't think they're going to be fun games, but please watch as many. I was trying to be funny. Please watch as many football games as you can. Football is the best thing that has ever been invented. Just love football so much. Please watch all the playoff games. Watch the national championship. It's going to be so much fun. Then, Sean and I obviously disagree completely. So we'll have a lot of fun things to talk about. And of course, this is just the first round of the playoffs. So we'll have more games to preview next week. And next week we'll also dabble in maybe the playoff teams that, or not the playoff teams, the college teams that disappointed us this season. The college teams that we think kind of went over what they should have. So we'll have a fun show next week. Please tune in. But other than that, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. I know it was
Thank
kind of
you.
long, but we'll try to shorten it up next week. So until then, have a good week.
All right. Good night.